Sheffield band, aren't they?
Who's that?
Van Halen.
Yeah, they are. But isn't that an odd name for a Sheffield
Might
band?
as well jump.
When I first heard of Van Halen, I thought they'd probably come from like Holland or Germany, because it's Van, isn't it? You know, Van is like
Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, that's right.
Van Hannigan.
Holland, or it's Dutch or Teutonic, but yeah, they come from Sheffield. That was the only decent song they made, wasn't it? Do you know the reason we're playing that?
Van Halen, they're massive.
I think he's got a birthday today. I'm just trying to work this one out, eh?
They're
Van
absolutely
Halen?
massive.
What do you mean massive?
All right, Van Halen fans, let them know
Yep.
how many million copies have they sold around the world.
So that was John Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen. That's a strange name, isn't it? Eddie
What,
Van
Eddie?
Halen.
From Eddie.
Well, you know, Van Halen. It should be preceded by, you know, Guten Van Halen, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know.
Guten Morgen.
that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
What a numpty.
Well, no, but Van Halen is a very unusual English name. It's like Van Morrison, right? Who is from Northern Ireland. It is Van Morrison, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
And
very good.
And no, he's a one-man band, isn't he, Van Morrison?
No.
Yeah,
he has his band. He has his band. No, he has his band.
And he's called Van because his name...
Have I told you lately that I love
that his name was Ivan. His name was Ivan, so he just knocked off the I and became Van.
All right.
So, you know, I don't get that, because Ivan, again, is like a Russian name, isn't it? You know, Ivan, what was it? Ivan Denisovich. You know, that's usually the name. Now, listen, Al, I want you to speak up and join me in my new campaign. You know that I have campaigns to rescue animals from all over the world. You know that, don't you?
No.
Yes, I do. What do you mean, no? What do you mean, no? What about Tommy the chimp I'm trying to rescue from a concrete cage in New York?
Tommy the chimp?
Tommy the chimp, yeah.
No, I thought your charity was horses.
Yeah, well, horses it definitely is. The Main Chance Sanctuary, I do that. But my latest one, and I have to say, I'm not very happy with the Germans on this one. The Germans have got an ape in their zoo in Germany, right, and he's getting attacked by German apes, and they won't release him to bring him back to this country, okay? And it's causing a great deal of angst amongst animal lovers like myself. Billy the ape, okay? Sorry, what are you laughing at? You think it's funny when animals get bullied by other animals? Saying is, he's a bonobo chimp, okay, and they're particularly sort of affectionate animals. Born at Twycross Zoo in Leicestershire in 2008, right? He was rejected.
It's all over Brexit, isn't it?
No, you see, it's not. I don't think it is. But this could help the Brexit negotiations if we get some sort of parlance with Germany on this. What happened was, poor old Billy the ape was rejected by his mother, and he was sent to a zoo in Frankfurt, okay? Because there's an international
Hold
network.
on, his mum's bombed him out. Now the Germans are like, well, maybe old Billy's a bad character.
maybe. Anyway, he is now in Wuppertal Zoo in Dusseldorf, all right?
Well, why don't you pay for him to come over here then?
Well, if I can, I will. The other apes...
Well, hold on a minute. You're missing to stand against that, Porky.
I also have a view on Japanese whaling, which I will tell you at another time. But most urgently now, the other apes have not accepted Billy, and they've been attacking him. And
you got me worried now. We've not got a Japanese sponsor, have we?
No, we haven't got a Japanese sponsor, no. Now, there is a German campaigner working on this, you know, which we're in contact with. His name is Peter Bente, and he wants Billy to be moved. And there is an ape sanctuary near Bovington in Dorset, which, of course, is an army firing range place, which you'll have heard of, OK? So we're getting a petition together. And Billy is described by vets there as severely traumatised. Well, listen, if you were locked up in an ape sanctuary and other apes were attacking you, well, you'd be traumatised. So it's a very serious issue, and I don't want people making fun of it and you sniggering there about, you know, my campaign for Billy the Ape. I want Billy to be rescued. And if people out there want Billy to be rescued, let it be known, please, okay?
The people out there are very correct and clever. They're right. I'm getting mixed up here. Van Halen, right? Van Halen.
Yes.
Is Def Leppard are from Sheffield. And I think the lead singer from Def Leppard lives in Dublin, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Van Halen, of course, are American. Thank you.
Oh, right, so they're not from Sheffield?
No, it's Def Leppard.
So you've misled me a couple of times this morning, haven't you, hey?
No, that's just a genuine mistake.
You know, over the Red Wine, you told me that was written by the drummer, and it wasn't. It was written by Neil Diamond.
I told you it was written by Neil Diamond. You were on about the drummer.
Only after somebody else told us.
No. Cheers, guys, for making my Saturday Saturday morning, worth living. Even if Porky is a plank, is Billy in Glasgow, and Billy's a Jers, a blue nose.
Yeah. Now, there's one here, getting to serious subjects. It says, if Porky thought about anything else except money, which he seems to be obsessed with...
Correct.
No, that's not true at all. He'd know that when large consortiums take over a brewery, the quality of the beer diminishes. It diminishes drastically, the prices go up, and the people lose their jobs. What a tube, says Phil from Wakefield. Phil, what you know about the brewing industry, mate, I reckon I could probably write on the back of a penny black stamp, because international business actually owns most of the drinks that are served in this country from the pubs that we go into. Huge international conglomerates. And also, the more you sell, the cheaper the product becomes. That is a basic fact of economics, which, of course, I studied at university, so I can tell you that for nothing.
What university? The Poly. Stoke Poly.
No. The University of the Trent, Al, I think you'll find, is the place I went.
Yeah, it's a Poly. It's not a university.
It's the University of the Trent.
What was it called when you went there?
When I went there?
Yes.
Well, it was in its formative years.
What was it called when you went there?
It was in its formative years.
Yes, what was it called?
It was called Trent Polytechnic.
Thank you.
But
and you tell me at the time there was no universities available?
The course I wanted to do was so specialised.
There was, and you didn't get in.
The course I wanted to do was so specialised.
Nothing wrong with that. I didn't go to uni.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that millions of our children today, by the way, and you have 3 daughters who've been through the education system, shouldn't waste the time doing 3 or 4 years at university. They should go and do and learn something.
I don't know
that is a craft rather
my
than...
youngest, I'll give you my youngest was very, very fortunate. She went to UCL
because she's bright.
She was there for 5 years, but then
she worked very hard.
She wanted to be a doctor, so she then went to do 3 or 4 years in Birmingham. She's now, which is really, really brilliant, she just took an exam the other day, a few weeks ago, and got the exam's results. 2 days ago, she came in the top 5% of the country. She can now pick any hospital in the country.
Excellent. And she is Dr. Brazil, yes?
Yes,
excellent. Well done. That's a
the
brilliant
problem
story.
is, she's forever saying, give us your arm over here. You know, talk about taking your pulse, and blood pressure, and put that drink down and stop going out and get it. But, oh dear, she's moving out soon. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, do you know what I would advise your daughter to do? Go to America and make yourself a multi-millionaire.
No. Yes. She doesn't want to do it. She wants to head back Suffolk way.
Well, that's all very well, and saying she's going to give back to the community and all that.
Yes, but that's what she wants to do. Yeah. She's not all about money like you are.
Well, she can always go to America and make millions of dollars for the first 10 years, then come back and then, give succour and comfort to the people of Suffolk, who, of course, don't have a lot of great advantages in life sometimes,
Excuse me?
What?
What people in Suffolk are you saying? Are you saying it's, good night, John boy? Is that what you're saying?
No.
There is no hills in Suffolk.
No.
Are you saying it's the Waltons in Suffolk?
No.
What a disgrace.
I'm not saying anything like that, Al. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be great if... by going to America and being involved with some of the most fantastic medical facilities in the world, she would bring great knowledge back to Suffolk.
Why don't you go to America? You always go on about, honestly.
But, don't you think it's a good idea to go maximise whatever talent you have?
No.
Of course it is.
Life's too short. If she wants to stay and look after where she was born...
Yes.
Ipswich Hospital, if she wants to go and be a doctor at the place she was born, looking after Suffolk people, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think one of your other daughters has done extremely well. She specialised in handbags in fashion, am I right?
Correct.
And again, because she chose a specialisation, that's great. But
too many of Kingston University,
not far from me, in Stockbroker Belt, Surrey. The problem is these days, a lot of kids go to university because it's just 3 years of messing around, then come out and then go on a gap year.
He's having a go at his nephew again, poor Tom.
I am not having a
That is a disgrace.
How dare you say that?
Why do you do that? What has he done to you?
Tom, my nephew, is a fine boy and he's leading a fine life, so please don't turn that on him. What I was going to say is, I read only this week, right, from one of my educational journals, that they're thinking now of introducing 2-year degree courses instead of 3, which I think is a brilliant idea, because then students who, quite frankly, some of them can be a right bunch of lazy bums lying around in bed all day and not doing a lot of work. Medicine, I know, is a very, very hard one to study, but some people who do, things that don't matter, like for business studies, and all this kind of stuff, they hardly do any work anyway. So why bother going to university for 3 years and racking up the bills? Why not go to university for 2, and then you get out into the workplace much more quickly and start becoming a productive member of society?
Before we break, I will give you I'll give you a bit of leeway here.
Yeah, yeah.
I did walk past UCL, the campus, which is massive, and if anyone knows, that's near Euston Station. And
well, they're all over the place.
And I did see loads of people skipping out of this class and heading, pubs and all sorts.
To wine bars and things,
and
wasting their time.
I looked on the wall, and it was classical art studies. I thought, what is the point?
You know what classical art is?
What is the point? What are you going to do for a living?
I totally agree. That's not even a language. I mean, learning classics. One of my friend's sons went to St John's College, Oxford, to learn ancient Greek and Latin to a very high level, and then read all the books that those guys wrote during the Roman Empire. You know, like what was a guy whose name began with V? He was was it
Vespucci?
Virgo? No, not Vespucci. No, I think it was Virgo, wasn't it? Who wrote all the classic books. And do you know what? After studying the Latin classics. Virgil. It was Virgil, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
He was.
No, it was.
He
plays for Liverpool.
No, he was. It was Virgil, honestly. So, but this is how mad it is, right? So they go to St John's College, study all these books. Then I said, so when you study these classical languages, it's so you can interpret the great works of the Roman Empire, is it? And he said, yeah, that's right. I said, so what do they say? He said, well, everybody's got a different interpretation of the book. So nobody knows what the books are actually saying because everybody interprets them differently. Do you see what I mean?
What do you think their likely outcome in terms of employment would be?
What, for being a classic scholar?
Yes.
Pretty high, because then you become an academic, and it's self-fulfilling. You then become an academic scholar teaching other people about the classics and Latin texts that nobody understands, and so on. It goes on and on. But it's non-productive to our society, and yet people say to me, to know our future, we have to know our past. Therefore, studying classic Latin scholarly works is invaluable to civilization. I don't think it is.
Live in 70.
Okay.